Hi guys, it's Adeline Nevela. Welcome back to the channel. You can see we got some different scenery here. I'm back at the ranch with my horses. We're no longer in the indoor over at R&J, so I'm back home. Got horses out here. Been riding every day. It's been good to get in the sun, and things are starting to warm up finally here in Minnesota. So today I'm going to be showing you a drill that I call the four-bird drill. This is a drill that I set up usually in a rectangle or a square. I'll kind of show you that, how I do that. But I usually do it in the rectangle just so I have two short straightaways and two long and my younger ones, they start on the pattern, but like this horse here, it's a 9-year-old coming. So he's definitely finished. It's a great drill for your finished horses, just to change things up on them so you're not working the same ground pattern every day to where they're getting bored. But you can still work on your barrels and your timing and your placement like you would on the pattern. So I'll walk you through it as we go. And I work this at a walk, a trot, and a lope, and I even do it more at a run just to, get some more speed in there, just like people would in a run, and to keep their muscles all working normally and keep them working normally. So I'll go through it here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Let's get into it. To start off, I'm just going to start at a walk here to introduce what I'm doing with him so he understands before I start adding any speed. As I'm going along here, I like to have my straightaways to the inside of this rectangle, just so that when I turn the barrel, I'm getting a full turn all the way around the turn to keep them more engaged into it. So I'm going to walk up to the turn, go around it, just let them know kind of what we're doing. And I'm going to bump them into a trot, slow down before my barrels. I'll stop and just let them relax here, and I'll walk up around it here. Trot up to the next barrel. Again, I'm going to slow down and sit down. I always like to slow down before my barrels just to give them a rate point and to get their hind end up underneath them and to get them gathered up underneath themselves so they can get that inside hock underneath themselves and really power out of a turn instead of being strung out around a turn. No matter what speed I'm going up there, I'm still going to sit down on my turn and make them slow down just a little bit to collect their hind end underneath them. You can see there how he rated back to me when I sat down and dropped my hand. He shortened up his stride and really drove up underneath himself with his hind end. So now I'm going to try to bump him into a lope here. I'm going to start off just doing big circles around my barrel just to get him dialed in and make sure that he's following through and staying nice and fluid all the way around the turn. Just since he is a more finished horse, he likes to really hunt his barrel, so I just want to make sure that he's listening to me instead of trying to do things more on his own. So I'm going to start off first just with doing these big circles around the turn. I'm just going to over-exaggerate picking my hands up and keeping his body nice and level and up into my hands and keeping him moving and driving forward. So again, just big circles around here. Sometimes I'll double up just so I feel like he's more dialed in. I usually go through the whole set of 4 barrels, doing the big circles at a lope before I start going into a normal turn, just to make sure that everything feels good. So now I'm going to go one-handed around my turn and turn it like a normal barrel. You can see there how he's collecting up and really driving all the way through the turn. I like working these to the inside. As you can see, you get a full turn around the barrel so that they can really work on keeping driving through the turn and that you can work on your own body positioning. I'm just going to sit down and stop before my turn and let him sit there and relax and think about things. And we're going to change the other direction and start back doing the same. I'm going to start at a walk. Slow down before my turn. I'm going to bump up into a trot. Same thing, I'm going to slow down before I turn. I'm just going to let him stop just to find that rate point a little bit. Make sure that he's dialed into rating to my body. I like my horses to rate back when I sit down with my body. Instead of using more hand, I like to get my horses rating off my body. You see there, he's really hunting that turn all the way around it. If you've watched my accountability drill, that's a drill that I did a lot with this horse. And so now I can drop my hand and he'll go turn the barrel on his own. He hunts the barrel really well, and that accountability drill is something that I did a lot with him to get him to that point. So if you want to watch that video, just go on my channel and you can see it. It's called the accountability barrel drill. So I'm going to bump him into a lope and do those big circles again, just to get him back dialed in. I honestly haven't worked barrels very much with him with the last few weeks, just being on quarantine and not having anything to go to. I've just been getting him in shape. So I'm just going to make sure that he's listening really well here. So I'm just going to lope around here a few times if he feels like he's really dialed in. Go up to the next barrel, do the same thing. I'm going to lope some big circles around it. You can see there he's kind of pushing to the outside, so I'm just going to lope around it till I feel like he's in the center of my hands and that his body's squared up underneath me. There he kind of fell out of lead, which I don't like, so he knows better, so I'm just going to slow him down, do a small circle, then lope off. With my older horses that know better with their leads, I'll get after them a little bit more for not picking up the correct lead or not holding their lead. Lope up to the next barrel and do the same thing, do those bigger circles. I'm going to start turning them like a barrel turn, ride up their two hands, sit down and drop to one hand. You can see there how he's really hunting his turn and powering all the way through it. Same thing there, he's really powering through his whole turn. I'm going to bring him right back around just because I didn't like how on the back side of the turn he quit driving through. So instead of making that a big deal, I'll just go right back around it like it's no big deal, and there he really powered through and kept his shoulder driving through. And this drill is great for keeping your older horses in shape without having to lope a bunch of patterns on them. So you can still work on their body position and your own body position.